Okay, so over the past 3 years of driving my V8 swapped M3, I've tried all sorts of different motorsports. I've tried autocross, rallycross, drag racing, hypermiling, you know, all of the really high performance stuff. But since I'd never taken it to a track with like corners, the car's obviously never been above 70 miles an hour, the legal limit, so I needed to find out what it was like. So in order to find out what the car does above street legal speeds, I needed to go to a track day. More specifically, a track night, and even more specifically, a track night in America. The SCCA regularly puts on track events at night in America, and it's a great way to introduce drivers to driving on track in a relatively safe and friendly environment. So I spent the past 5 months tearing apart this engine that had been working perfectly for the last 3 years in order to make it less reliable. Well, I mean, actually I wanted to add a bunch more power, but being less reliable is just a wonderful side effect of that. And less reliable it was. After doing all of that work and putting everything back together, I took the car out and it would not stop overheating. So then I tore it all back apart, replaced about a bajillion gaskets, and added hoses and tubes and all sorts of stuff. And it really came down to the wire. I put in some very late nights. I got the car running on a Wednesday. I test drove it on a Thursday night. And I raced on Friday. Now, since I don't trust the car to break down if I'm more than 10 feet away from my house, I flat-towed it all the way to Minnesota, just in case things go sideways. But not like good sideways like oversteer, like bad sideways like a $700 tow home. So I arrived just in time to get my tires swapped and then attend the novice briefing. The DCTC Driver Training Center includes a whole bunch of track that can be reconfigured into a lot of different tracks, configurations. It can be configured into configurations. In this case, the track chosen was a 15-turn course with 2 designated passing zones for novices. We had 3 20-minute sessions on track, and by the second session I was really tearing it up. It felt like kind of like a larger autocross. Honestly, it was 30 to 50 mile an hour turns and just a few straightaways that got above 70. It was right at home. It was awesome. Until the black flag. So I noticed it right as it was just a little bit too late to pit, so I kind of took it easy for a lap, wondering what fell off of my car, what was broken, what was smoking, or if I was on fire maybe. Eventually I did manage to pit, and I talked to them, and it turns out they just thought I was in the wrong group.
Are you in the novice group? Yeah. You are? Yeah. Okay. My apologies, you look pretty damn good for a novice out there. Alright, sorry about that. We just didn't recognize the car for some reason, but appreciate it.
I guess I'll take that as a compliment. The cool part about that was I got sent back on track after a GT350. Let's chase him down. much of the track was spent getting point buys from other drivers, passing them and then just catching up to the next guy and doing it again. So throughout the night I did get a few clean laps, well, at least as much as you can call my terrible driving clean. Let's try that again. Side note, tires designed for a 60-second autocross course get awfully greasy after about 15 minutes on a track. So in the last session, near the end, I did notice in left-hand turns, I could kind of feel a vibration that was a little bit odd. I didn't think too much of it because my car is kind of a pile of crap, so I'm used to odd feelings and sounds and squeaks and shakes. But when I pulled off after the session was over and took a look at the front tire, I saw why. Now I knew those tires were almost done, but I thought they had a little bit more left in them. No, they were done. But so was I, because that was the end of the third session. It was time to pack up and go home. So why don't more people do track events like that? Well, honestly, it is more expensive than something like an autocross. But with an autocross, it's maybe $35 to enter, and depending on the number of runs, you can get 6 to 8 minutes of seat time total, and that's over probably a 7 to 8 hour day between arriving, prepping, working, and driving. The track event was $125, and it was a 5-hour span, and I got 60 minutes of seat time. That's hard to beat. That's 10 autocross events in one evening in a row. If you look at it from a dollars per seat time perspective, autocross is $4 to $5 per minute of seat time. The track event was more like $2 or $2.50 per minute of seat time. That's hard to beat. If you haven't done a track event, you gotta try it. It's a blast. So what did I learn? Number one, I need more track time. Not only because it was so much fun, but because my driving was pretty bad. And I'd like to get better, and you get better by practicing and by getting seat time primarily, so driver mod. Number two, the M3 is, at least for me, kind of the ideal track weapon. It is the perfect combination of power. With this new engine combo, I have enough. I don't know how much, I haven't dynoed it yet. It's enough to have fun. Number two, grip. This thing sticks. Number three, it is easy to control. You kind of throw it in a little too hard, it says, hey, that was a little too hard, and then it basically corrects itself, making me look like a hero, and I'm not very good. And number four, that car's enough of a piece of crap. I can throw it into the corner at 70 and not be too worried about what the outcome's gonna be. If I make it, fine. If I don't, no, it's not that big of a loss. That combination's pretty dangerous and a lot of fun. So one thing I know is I'm gonna be back on track soon.